To solve a rational equation, the first thing you want to do is you want to multiply each term of the equation by the least common denominator. All of the expression or all of the terms in the equation. This step eliminates the denominator of the rational expression, and then it becomes just a regular equation to solve. An extraneous solution is a solution of an equation derived from an original equation that is not a solution of the original equation. So when you solve, you might get an answer that doesn't work. So what you have to do is you have to go back and you have to check your answers to make sure that they are solutions to the equation. So make sure that you always go back and check your answers. And I'll show you what I mean. All right, so here's a problem. It says solve the equation. 2 plus 1x is equal to 4. So what I'm going to do, the first step, is I'm going to multiply every single term. So how many terms are in this problem? Well, if I'm looking at this problem correctly, there's a term here, there's a term here, and there's a term here. So I'm going to multiply every one of those terms by the lowest common denominator. Well, there's only one denominator in this whole problem, and it is x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply every single term by x. And you're going to see what happens here. So I'm going to multiply this term. So I'm going to multiply the 2 by x. And the 1 over x, I'm going to multiply by x. And the 4, I'm going to multiply by x. You have to multiply every term by x. So here I'm left with 2x plus, well, 1 over x times x. Those x's are going to cross out. So I'm just left with a 1 there, is equal to 4x. So step number 1, I multiplied everything by the lowest common denominator, which was x, and look what's left. I do not have a rational function anymore. I have a regular equation. So I'm just going to solve this equation. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So that leaves me with 1 is equal to 2x. I'm going to divide by 2. So 1/2 is equal to x. That is my solution. Now I'm going to check to see if it works. So I'm going to plug it back here. I'm going to put 1/2 right here where x is. So I have 2 plus 1 over 1/2 is equal to 4. Now remember, this is a complex fraction. So I flip it over and multiply. So this becomes 2 plus, well, that becomes 2 is equal to 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. That is a solution, and it does work. So my answer is 1/2. Let's try another one. I have 5/6 plus 4 over x is equal to 3. So what is my lowest common denominator? Well, in this problem, my lowest common denominator is going to be 6x. I'm going to multiply every single term by 6x. It's going to multiply this term by 6x. I'm going to multiply this term by 6x. I'm going to multiply this term by 6x. And what do I get? Well, first thing I do is I know things are going to simplify, so those 6 are going to cross off. So I'm left with 5x plus, well, here the x is going to cross off the x here. So I have 4 times 6, which is 24, is equal to 3 times 6x, which is 18x. Now, if you do that first step and you don't end up, if you end up with denominators still in your problem, you did something wrong because the denominators will cross off. All right, so now I'm going to subtract 5x off of this on both sides. I'm just going to solve this just like a regular linear equation. So 24 is equal to 13x. Divide through by 13 here. And I end up with 24 over 13 is equal to x. Now, I could plug it back in here, check my answer, but I'll let you guys worry about checking the answers. All right, next problem. Okay, now in this type of problem, some kids, they have a difficult time trying to see what the lowest common denominator is. My suggestion is factor. So I'm gonna rewrite this problem. I'm gonna rewrite it as 4 over x plus 2, x minus 2, because this is a difference of 2 squares, is equal to 1 over x minus 2. Okay, so my lowest common denominator for this problem is going to be x plus 2, x minus 2. So I'm going to multiply that by every single term. So I'm going to multiply this term by x plus 2, x minus 2. I'm going to multiply over here by x plus 2, x minus 2. And look what happens. Here, both of them are going to cross off. I'm just going to be left with 4 is equal to, well, here the x minus 2's are going to cross off, so 1 times x plus 2. So look at that. This equation is exactly the same thing as this equation. And now all I have to do is subtract 2 from both sides, and I end up with x equals 2. Now this is where checking your solutions might come in handy, okay? Because if I put that in here, so if I put 2 back in here, 2 squared is 4, 4 minus 4 is 0. Anytime you have a 0 in the denominator, that makes this undefined. So I solved it, and I got x equals 2. However, that is not a solution because it makes the problem undefined. So there are really no solutions to this problem because when I find my solution, it doesn't work. I put it in there and it makes it 0 in the denominator, which makes it undefined. Okay, so that's why you have to check your answers. All right. Uh-oh, getting tougher. All right, so I'm going to factor this one here, d squared minus 4, so that's d minus 2, d plus 2. So my lowest common denominator for this problem is going to be d minus 2, d plus 2. So I'm going to multiply every single term, d minus 2, d plus 2, d minus 2, d plus 2, d minus 2, d plus 2. Okay, I'm going to cross off the d plus 2 here. So what am I left with? I'm left with 2 times d minus 2. Okay, that's my first term. Plus, here my d minus 2's are going to cross off. So I'm left with 8. Oops. And then d plus 2 is equal to, well, here they both cross off, 14. So yeah, it's a little bit tougher of an equation to solve now, but I'm going to use distributive property here, so that gives me 2d minus 4 plus 8d plus 16 is equal to 14. I'm going to put my d's together, so that gives me 10d, and then minus 4 and 16, that's 12, is equal to 14. Subtract off 12 from both sides, so I end up with 10d is equal to 2. So d is equal to 2 over 10, or d is equal to 1/5. And again, on this one, I will let you plug it back in to see if it works, but it should. I mean, that it should work. All right. The last problem that I want to do today is a problem off of your practice. This is problem number 10 on our practice. Whew, okay, so I've got an x squared minus 9, so I'm looking at this problem, and I'm just going to factor this to x minus 3x plus 3. And then I have an x minus 3 here, so my lowest common denominator is going to be x minus 3, x plus 3. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this term by x minus 3, x plus 3. Hard to read. I'm going to multiply this term by x minus 3, x plus 3. And I'll multiply this term by x minus 3, x plus 3. Okay, so here, well, those both are going to cross off. So I'm left with 6 minus, looks like the x minus 3 is going to cross off, so I'm left with x plus 3 here. And why did I put the parentheses in there? Because it's minus that, so this minus sign goes to both of these, is equal to, and then over here I'm left with x minus 3, x plus 3. Okay, now this one's a little bit tougher to solve. I'm going to rewrite this one as 6 minus x minus 3, so that gives me negative x plus 3 is equal to, and over here I'm going to rewrite this as x squared minus 9, because that's the difference in two squares. I just multiplied it together. It's a quadratic. In order to solve a quadratic, I have to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to bring the x over here. I'm going to bring the 3 over here. So I'm going to add x. I'm going to subtract off 3. So I'm left with x squared plus x minus 12. Now I'm going to factor. Well, two numbers multiplied give me negative 12, but add up to positive 1. I think negative 4 times 3. That gives me negative 12. If I add to, oops, I'm going to go positive. Positive 4 and negative 3 because it multiplies negative 12, but it adds up to positive 1. So x plus 4, x minus 3. So my solutions are negative 4, positive 3. Negative 4, positive 3. Woo! Awesome problems. Now remember, as soon as you finish your assessments this week, and you're done for the week. And that means then you can start your holiday break early, or your summer or winter break, whatever you want to call it. All right, you guys have a great week. Bye.